This is what a medical binder can look like. Please excuse my voice. The oak pollen is crazy and has stolen my voice from me. But this is what a medical binder can look like. I've got this simple cover page where your friend can write their phone number in case they leave it behind somewhere. And then when you open it up, I like to include a pencil pouch with some highlighters or pens, some post-it notes, some little clips. These are really great for keeping business cards from new doctors. It's also really helpful for when your friend is getting imaging done or testing done at a hospital and has to take those images somewhere else to a doctor who maybe doesn't have rights at that hospital, or maybe they need to go get a second opinion somewhere, and they usually have to get a hard copy of the test, whether it's an MRI or what have you. And being able to just slide that in here is really, really helpful for organizing. So I also created a simple little medicine schedule that has like the times of day, what the medication is, the dosaging. This is really helpful when someone's got a lot of different medications that they're trying to keep track of. And it's really great to be able to write it down when you're having to pass care back and forth. Maybe you've got a couple of siblings that are working to care for their elderly parent. For the siblings to be able to kind of pass this back and forth so that they know when mom got her meds and everything, that can just be really helpful. So I like to include folders that have pockets because you will get lots and lots of paperwork from doctor's offices, and sometimes they're not hole punched yet. So being able to slide them in until you can get them home and hole punch them is really great. I have a doctor contact list. This is because sometimes we put our doctor's information in our phones, but then when it's like in the moment and one doctor is asking for contact info for a different specialist, your brain just kind of shuts down. There's so much information that a caregiver has to keep in their head. And so being able to just have it all in one spot where you can write down what their specialty was and everything, it just makes it easier for the caregiver to kind of grab that information quickly. This one is super helpful because when you go to a new doctor, there's so much paperwork to fill out, and they always, always, always want to know your procedure history, what images have been done, what surgeries have been done, when, where, all of that. And as the caregiver, when you get to this office and you've got all this paperwork in front of you, it is so hard to remember when certain things were done and in what order. So having this list means that as the procedures are happening, I got a CT scan on this date, and then they did my surgery on this date, and then I had an MRI, et cetera, et cetera. You've got it all down with the dates and everything. And when you show up at that doctor's office and they ask for it, you just pull it out of your binder, you hand it to the staff, they make their own copy, you put the originals back, and you're done. You do not have to write it all out and remember it all. So that's my favorite one. The medication list, it's the same thing. So we had the medication schedule, which is for the caregiver themselves to keep track of when to give medications at home. But the medication list, this one is more for your doctor's appointments. You can just keep this updated, and when you get there and you need to fill all this out, you just pull it out of your binder again and ask them to make their own copy, and you don't have to keep it all in your head. Then we've got consultation notes. Maybe it's just me, but I always think of questions for my doctors like in the middle of the night or at really inconvenient times. And then when I get to the appointment, all those thoughts have left my head and I'm focused on all the other like really immediate things. So having these papers, it just was so helpful for me to be able to jot down questions as I thought about them during the day, as we led up to appointments. And then when we sat down with the doctor, I could just write down what they said to me, could make sure I asked all my questions. And all of our doctors, they actually loved that I had these forms. They would be like, do you have any more? Do you have any more questions for me? They were always so excited and happy to answer our questions. And just having all of this organized, I don't know, I feel like they treated us with just a different level of respect. And I don't know, they just knew that I was really serious about how they were caring for our child. And I hate to think that they aren't treating everyone like that. But I know doctors and nurses get overwhelmed and they've got so much to do. And I do think that there is a difference. I do think that they tend to slow down and take a little bit more time with people who show up, showing that they're on top of things and that they're paying attention. So I really recommend having a binder when you've got ongoing medical needs and lots of different doctors and that kind of thing. Usually at the front, I also include just some plain lined paper for friends to have as other writing surfaces. And that is it. All of these things you can pick up at an office store or order off Amazon. And then again, all of those documents that you saw, those are available in my latest newsletter. You can go to marissabondurant.com and you can sign up to be on my newsletter, and I will make sure that you get all of those documents if you need them. And that's it. Thanks, friends.